What if the rumors you've been ignoring suddenly turned out to be true? What if the person you trusted the most was hiding a child with someone you couldn't stand? The internet is in full meltdown mode right now after explosive claims surfaced suggesting that a DNA test has confirmed Mendeecees Harris is the father of Erica Mina's youngest child. And if that wasn't enough, reports are swirling that Yandy Smith completely lost control after learning the news, allegedly launching a full-blown attack on Erica during a private moment backstage. While none of this has been officially confirmed, social media is lit up with so-called eyewitnesses, leaked voice notes, and blurry screenshots that fans claim tell the whole story. Emotions are running high, the fan base is divided, and the drama is snowballing into something the love and hip-hop franchise might not recover from. How did it get to this point? Is there any truth to the DNA rumors? And what really went down between Yandy and Erica that has everyone talking? Grab your popcorn, because we're about to break down every wild twist in this growing scandal. And trust us, it only gets messier from here. Under the dim lights of the backstage lounge, whispers turned into gasps as one of the crew members, visibly shaken, rushed out of a private room. Moments earlier, a heated conversation had been brewing between two women who've long shared a history of tension and unresolved bitterness, Yandy Smith and Erica Mina. Now, with the alleged results of a DNA test surfacing online, that tension had finally exploded into something no one on the set could have imagined. It wasn't just an argument anymore. According to people present, it turned physical, chaotic, and absolutely unforgettable. The drama reportedly began earlier that morning when a blog known for leaking celebrity gossip dropped what it claimed were DNA test documents linking Mendeecees Harris to Erica Mina's child. Screenshots spread like wildfire, and within hours, social media was ablaze with speculation. Fans were tagging Yandy, Erica, and even Mendeecees in post after post, demanding answers. Some were shocked, others claimed they saw it coming. But the most jaw-dropping part? It wasn't even the DNA results themselves. It was Yandy's alleged reaction. Sources say that when Yandy first saw the posts, she refused to believe them. She reportedly brushed them off, calling it just another internet stunt. But things took a turn when producers allegedly confronted her with behind-the-scenes footage. Footage that seemed to show Mendeecees sneaking off set multiple times during filming to meet with Erica in private. According to insiders, Yandy's hands started trembling the moment she saw it. She didn't say much at first, just stared at the screen in silence, lips pressed tightly together, eyes locked in disbelief. Within minutes, she was out of her seat and heading straight for Erica's dressing room. What happened next is where the story gets messy. Multiple crew members say Yandy stormed in without knocking. Erica was sitting in front of the mirror, fixing her makeup. The room went dead silent as the door slammed against the wall. According to an assistant standing just outside, Yandy's voice was calm but icy. "You really couldn't wait, huh?" she allegedly said, her tone steady but dripping with rage. Erica looked up, reportedly unfazed at first. She smirked, which only fueled the fire. "You had years to ask questions. I just gave you answers," she allegedly replied. That's when things exploded. According to witnesses, Yandy lunged forward without warning, grabbing Erica by the hair. Both women screamed. Makeup bottles flew off the counter. Security rushed in as the two women tumbled to the floor. It wasn't a catfight. It was raw, unfiltered rage that had been building for months, maybe years. Yandy was said to be crying and screaming, repeating the same words over and over. "You ruined everything. You ruined my family." By the time they were separated, Erica's wig was halfway off and Yandy's shirt was torn at the shoulder. Both were breathing heavily, faces flushed with emotion. One crew member reportedly said they had never seen Yandy that out of control before. And while the fight itself was shocking, the aftermath was even more intense. As security escorted Yandy out of the room, Erica allegedly yelled after her, "You should be mad at him, not me." It echoed down the hallway, loud enough for several other cast members to hear, but the real bombshell came moments later, when a producer quietly told one of the interns to pull all the footage and lock it up. It became clear that what had just happened wasn't just reality TV gold, it was a potential legal nightmare. And behind the scenes, panic was setting in. Rumors started flying about who knew what and when. Had production known about the DNA results before they leaked? Had Mendeecees himself confirmed it in private? The speculation grew worse when someone leaked an alleged voicemail, supposedly from Mendeecees to Erica, in which he said, "I can't let Yandy find out like this. Not like this." The clip was only 10 seconds long, but it was enough to send fans into a frenzy. The timeline didn't add up. If he knew about the child months ago, why didn't he say anything? Why let Yandy find out through gossip blogs and backstage footage? Social media exploded with theories. Some fans defended Mendeecees, saying he was probably afraid. Others tore him apart for being cowardly and dishonest. But one thing was clear: no one expected Yandy to snap the way she allegedly did. People who had always seen her as the composed, rational one were now calling her unhinged, emotional, and even dangerous. Meanwhile, Erica's response was equally shocking. Later that evening, she went live on Instagram. Her voice was calm, but her expression showed a mix of hurt and satisfaction. "I didn't ask for this drama," she said, "but I did ask for the truth. And now that it's out, everyone wants to act surprised. I tried to keep it private, but he didn't leave me much of a choice." She paused, looking into the camera. "And for the record," she added, "I didn't throw the first punch." The live ended just as quickly as it began, but it left viewers reeling. Her comments section was flooded with both support and hate. Some people praised her for standing her ground. Others accused her of stirring the pot and tearing a family apart. But where was Mendeecees in all of this? As the night went on, his silence became louder. He hadn't posted, hadn't commented, hadn't liked or shared anything. Fans started tagging him in everything, begging for a response. The longer he stayed quiet, the worse it looked. Even some of his own followers started turning against him, calling him out for hiding behind the chaos, while two women tore each other apart over a truth he should have owned up to long ago. And behind closed doors, things were reportedly falling apart even more. A crew member leaked a text exchange allegedly between Mendeecees and a producer, where he said, "I need a day before I come back. This ain't just TV no more." Another insider claimed that Yandy refused to film the next day. She stayed locked in her trailer, refusing to speak to anyone except her stylist and her sister. According to someone close to her, she spent the night crying, torn between heartbreak and humiliation. What no one knew yet was whether the DNA documents were real. While everyone was reacting as if they were, no official statement had been made. And that's what kept the tension sky high. Some fans clung to the hope that it was all fake, another ploy for ratings. Others were convinced it was the final nail in the coffin of Yandy and Mendeecees' already fragile relationship. And yet, as chaotic as it had all become, this was just the beginning. Because the very next morning, a new rumor began to circulate, one that made the DNA news look like child's play. A rumor that suggested Mendeecees had more to confess. Something even Yandy didn't know yet. Something Erica had been holding on to just in case. And according to someone on set, that just in case had arrived. The next morning, the set felt unusually tense, like the calm after a storm that no one truly survived. The crew members walked quietly, exchanging glances and whispering in corners, unsure if today's shoot would even continue. Yandy hadn't shown up yet. Her trailer remained closed, the curtains drawn, and there was no sign of movement inside. Several calls from production went unanswered, either sent to voicemail or simply ignored. Mendeecees was missing too. But Erica? Erica walked in like a woman reborn. Contrary to what many expected, Erica wasn't hiding. Instead, she arrived, with her glam squad in full force, head held high, makeup flawless, and her walk carrying the air of someone who had just won a long, brutal battle. Producers hesitated, wondering whether to postpone shooting, but Erica looked directly at them and said, "Either roll the cameras or I'll go live myself." That was all it took for everything to shift. With cameras rolling, Erica sat confidently in a velvet chair, soft lighting casting a glow on her face. She stared into the lens with intensity, her voice steady. "What happened last night wasn't planned, but it was bound to happen," she said. Then she pulled out a folded piece of paper, neatly creased, held with purpose. "This is the DNA report. I gave this to production a few days ago. If it's online now, it wasn't leaked by me." Her next words hit like an earthquake. Mendeecees. knew everything. He came to see the child, looked into his eyes, and told me he saw the resemblance. He said he couldn't rest until he knew the truth. And once he had the truth, he said nothing. Erica paused, her voice cracking just slightly. I asked him to tell Yandy himself. I told him the truth would only hurt more the longer he stayed. Silent. He chose silence. And now everyone's looking at me like I'm the villain. As soon as that confession scene wrapped, production scrambled. The tension in the room was electric. No one had expected such raw honesty, such direct confrontation with the truth. But what shocked everyone the most was that Mendeecees still hadn't shown up or said a single word. Meanwhile, social media had exploded. Hashtags like Mendeecees baby and Yandy Serica were trending across platforms. Fans were in chaos, sharing their reactions, making memes, speculating endlessly. One user tweeted, "If Mendeecees ain't denying it, then maybe it's true." Another posted, "Yandy deserves better. Always the last to know. Always the one holding everything together while everyone else falls apart." The online storm reached Yandy in real time. She hadn't slept. She spent the night scrolling through comments, watching people dissect her life, her relationship, her marriage. She was watching herself become the center of a scandal she didn't ask for. Then, just before dawn, she received a text, short, cold. It read, "We need to talk." It was from Mendeecees. No apology, no explanation, just 4 hollow words. She threw her phone at the wall. It shattered. The producers approached Yandy the following afternoon with a request. Would she be willing to film a private segment to share her side? No cast, no interruptions, just her and the camera. She agreed, but only under the condition that no one else would be near the set. They accepted. They needed the footage. They needed the raw emotion. When Yandy arrived, the set was staged like a confessional. Candles flickered in the background. Soft music hummed faintly. She wore no makeup. Her face was tired, but her eyes were sharp, full of quiet rage. She sat down slowly, took a deep breath, and stared into the camera. "I've stood by Mendeecees through everything," she said, her voice low and heavy. "Through prison, through rumors, through everything this world has thrown at us. And now, I'm supposed to just sit back and accept this?" Her hands trembled slightly, but she kept her composure. If Erica's telling the truth, and I don't even know anymore what the truth looks like, then what the hell was I even fighting for all these years? She took another breath, closing her eyes briefly. "I'm not broken. Not yet. But I'm tired. Tired of always being the last to know. Tired of putting out fires I didn't start. And tired of loving someone who might have never been honest with me." There was a long pause. She looked away, then back at the camera. "I know the world's watching. But right now, I don't care about the world. I care about the truth." When the segment ended, the crew didn't speak. No one moved. It felt like time had frozen. The producers whispered quietly to each other, unsure whether to air the footage immediately or wait for Mendeecees to respond. But that response never came, not yet. The next scene they had planned was meant to be a group dinner, a reunion, of sorts. But under the current circumstances, no one was ready. Tempers were high, egos were bruised. The producers instead invited Erica back for a follow-up sit-down, this time to clarify some of the more unanswered questions, offering her another chance to take control of the narrative. Erica arrived 2 hours late, wearing a long black coat and oversized sunglasses. When asked why she was late, she smiled and said, "I had to speak with my lawyer." That answer alone sent the internet into another frenzy. What lawyer? Was she suing someone? Was she preparing for a custody battle? Or worse, a public takedown? Back on camera, she said calmly, "Look, I don't hate Yandy. I never did. But I was done hiding. I was done pretending. People act like I'm out here trying to destroy families. I'm not. I just want the truth to be out." She then revealed something shocking. The report didn't just come from me, it came from Mendeecees. He ordered it. He gave his sample willingly, and when the results came in, he looked at them. And he cried. The silence that followed her words was louder than any explosion. The producers were stunned. If Mendeecees had truly known the truth all along and chose to keep it secret, then the betrayal wasn't just personal. It was a betrayal of everyone involved. Fans, family, even his own wife. And as Erica's words settled into the atmosphere, the next bomb was already ticking. As the echoes of Erica's last confession began to ripple through the set, the tension reached new heights. The idea that Mendeecees had known about the DNA results long before the public found out hit everyone, like a tidal wave. Whispers filled the production hallways. Some crew members debated whether he would even show his face again. Others weren't so sure. Mendeecees had been silent before, but never this long, and never in the middle of a scandal this intense. What made things worse was that he was still nowhere to be found. Even his closest friends and associates couldn't get through to him. His phone went straight to voicemail. His social media remained quiet, and no one had physically seen him since the night Yandy lashed out at Erica. But one thing was becoming painfully clear. Mendeecees wasn't hiding because he was scared. He was hiding because he knew the storm he had created was one that might drown everyone involved. Meanwhile, Yandy wasn't done. After recording her emotional sit-down, she went dark for 24 hours. No calls, no texts, not even a post. Fans worried she had completely broken down. But when she returned, she came back swinging. She posted a cryptic video to her Instagram story. Just her walking down a hallway in slow motion, dressed in all black, with the caption, "Truth always comes to light." No voice, no face, just that cold statement. The internet went wild. Within minutes, fan pages picked it up, speculating whether Yandy was preparing to leave Mendeecees, file for divorce, or drop her own truth bomb. Producers knew this was their moment. They reached out to both Yandy and Erica, proposing a face-to-face. Sit down, no interruptions, no cuts, just the two of them in a room. They expected Yandy to decline, but surprisingly, she agreed. Her only condition: no Mendeecees. On the day of the shoot, the tension was unbearable. Cameras were prepped, security was heightened, and every single crew member knew something explosive was about to unfold. Yandy arrived first, poised but unreadable. Erica showed up 10 minutes later, wearing a fitted white dress, her energy controlled but clearly guarded. They sat across from each other, the air between them thick enough to cut with a knife. Yandy spoke first. "I'm not here to scream. I'm not here to fight. But I need to understand why you did this the way you did." Her voice was calm, almost too calm. Erica, after a long pause, replied, "I did what I had to do because he wouldn't. He left me out there holding the weight of this secret while playing house with you. I'm sorry you got caught in the crossfire, but you were already in it. You just didn't know." Yandy blinked slowly, processing the words. "You think that makes it okay? You think going public, letting the internet eat us alive, makes you a victim?" She leaned forward slightly. "You could have come to me. You could have shown me woman to woman, but instead, you made a circus out of my life." Erica's expression hardened. "I tried. You wouldn't listen. You always believed whatever he told you. I was tired of being dismissed. Tired of pretending it didn't matter. This wasn't just about the baby. This was about how he lied to both of us." The two women stared at each other for a long moment. It wasn't yelling. It wasn't chaos. It was something much more raw. Two women confronting the weight of betrayal from the same man. And just when it felt like things might simmer down, Yandy dropped the next bomb. "You're not the only one he's lied to," she said quietly. "This wasn't the first rumor, and if I'm being honest, I've been suspicious for a while, but I didn't want to believe it." She looked down, voice cracking slightly. "I wanted to protect our family, protect my peace. But peace doesn't come from lies." Erica seemed stunned. She hadn't expected that level of honesty. Her face softened for the first time during the conversation. "So what now?" she asked. Yandy looked up, her eyes filled with a mix of pain and strength. "Now I figure out what healing looks like, with or without him." As soon as that scene wrapped, producers were overwhelmed. The footage was gold, better than any reality TV drama they'd ever shot. Raw, emotional, unscripted. But the biggest question remained unanswered. Where was Mendeecees? That night, fans were treated to another unexpected twist. A close friend of Mendeecees, someone who had remained quiet throughout the scandal, went live on Instagram. His name was Dre, a longtime associate from the early music days. During the live, he said something that shook the internet to its core. "I'm not here to pick sides," Dre began, "but y'all keep asking where Mendeecees is. Truth is, he's been laying low, trying to figure out how to clean up the mess he made. But let me be clear, he knew about the baby. He told me before the results even came in that he had a gut feeling, He just didn't want to lose his wife. And now he might have lost everything." Fans flooded the comment section. If this friend was telling the truth, then Mendeecees had willfully let both Yandy and Erica suffer in silence while he tried to juggle two versions of his life. One fan commented, "He was playing chess while they were stuck playing survival." Another wrote, "He didn't just break hearts, he broke trust, and that's harder to fix." Back on set, producers were scrambling to rewrite the next few episodes. The storyline had changed. What began as a DNA twist had spiraled into a deep emotional unraveling of love, deception, and public fallout. They knew they needed Mendeecees now more than ever. The audience demanded his side. The world needed to see the man at the center of it all finally speak. So they issued an official invite, not a casual request, but a formal on-camera segment titled Mendeecees Speaks. No edits, no soft lighting, just him, a chair, and the camera. And to everyone's surprise, he said yes. His team sent a short message to producers. He'll be there, but he won't be answering questions. He's coming to talk. That statement alone lit social media on fire. Fans began counting down to the episode. Blogs released timelines of the entire saga. Reddit threads dissected body language from every scene. Some people sided with Erica, others backed Yandy, and a few even expressed sympathy for Mendeecees, calling him a flawed man caught in a whirlwind of consequences. As the day of his taping arrived, the set was eerily silent. It felt like Judgment Day. One chair, one man, one truth, or maybe several. But before the cameras rolled, Mendeecees made a phone call to Yandy. What he said in that conversation would change everything. As the phone rang, Yandy sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the screen, torn between declining and answering. It was Mendeecees. The name alone triggered a storm of emotions: anger, betrayal, sadness, and confusion. After a few more rings, she finally picked up. There was a heavy silence on both ends. No one spoke for several seconds. Finally, his voice broke through. "I know I'm the last person you want to hear from," he said quietly, almost as if he couldn't believe she had picked up. "But before I face everyone else, I had to talk to you." Yandy didn't respond immediately. She let the silence speak for her. After a long pause, she whispered, "You should have come to me the moment you knew, not weeks later. Not after the damage. You were supposed to protect me." "I know," he admitted. "And I failed. Not just as a husband, but as a man. I was scared, Yandy. Scared to lose you, scared to admit what I'd done. And that fear made me selfish." Yandy's breath hitched. "Do you even understand what you've put me through? What you put our kids through? They see the headlines. They hear the whispers. And I'm the one who has to explain everything while you disappear." His voice cracked. "I didn't disappear. I was trying to find the courage to fix this. But maybe I was too late." There was another pause. Yandy finally said, "This call doesn't fix anything. But maybe it's a start. If you're really sorry, don't just talk to me. Say it to the world. Own it." "I will," he promised. "Everything. No lies. No filters." The call ended, and just hours later, Mendeecees showed up on set for his long-awaited appearance. No entourage, no flashy clothes, just a black hoodie and jeans. He looked tired, worn down by the weight of everything. As he sat in the chair under the glaring lights, the camera crew prepped in silence. Everyone knew what he was about to say could either redeem him or destroy him. The cameras rolled. He looked straight into the lens, took a deep breath, and began. "I messed up. There's no script here, no excuses. I lied. Not just to my wife, but to someone who deserved the truth too. When Erica came to me telling me she was pregnant, I panicked. I didn't know what to believe, and honestly, I didn't want to believe it, because I knew what it would cost me. Yandy and I had already been through so much, and the idea of bringing a secret like that into our lives felt like a death sentence to everything we built. He paused, then continued. When the DNA test came back, confirming what I was too, afraid to accept, I froze. I told myself I needed time, that I had to figure out the best way to break it to Yandy. But the truth is, I was buying time for myself. I didn't want to lose the life I had, so I kept lying. I told Erica to wait. I told myself the truth could wait, but it didn't. It exploded. As his confession poured out, fans around the world watched in disbelief. This wasn't the Mendeecees they were used to seeing, confident, composed, in control. This was a broken man facing the aftermath of his own destruction. He went on, "Yandy, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect things to go back to how they were, but I need you to know that everything I did was out of fear, not out of malice. I was afraid of losing you, but I see now. I lost you anyway." He then addressed Erica. "I owe you an apology too, for not being a man from the beginning, for leaving you to carry this alone. No child deserves to grow up in the middle of this mess, and I'll do whatever it takes to be there for my child." By the end of his statement, Mendeecees' voice was barely a whisper. He looked straight into the camera one last time and said, "No more lies, no more silence. It's time to face everything." As the crew packed up, the silence in the studio was heavy. No one knew what would happen next, but they knew one thing. This moment would go down in love and hip-hop history. The episode aired just days later, and the reaction was immediate. Social media blew up with reactions, debates, and emotional responses. Fans were divided. Some praised Mendeecees for finally owning up, while others called it too little too late. Hashtags like "Where Yandy Deserves Better," "Your Team Erica," and Mendeecees' confession trended for hours. But the biggest surprise came not from fans, but from Yandy herself. The day after the episode aired, she posted a lengthy message on her Instagram. It read, "Hearing him speak his truth hurt more than I expected, but it also gave me a strange sense of closure. Not peace, not yet, but something close. I don't know what the future holds for us. I'm not ready to make any decisions. But I do know one thing. My worth is not tied to someone else's mistakes, and I will never let betrayal break me." Erica, too, responded with a video of her own. She was emotional, sitting in her car, wiping away tears. "I didn't do this to ruin lives. I did this because I was tired of hiding. I've made mistakes too, but my child didn't ask for this. All I want is peace. For me, for my baby, for all of us." In a twist that no one expected, both women, once bitter enemies, began following each other on Instagram again. No words were exchanged publicly, but the gesture spoke volumes. Behind the scenes, producers hinted that the next season might feature a new kind of dynamic between Yandy and Erica. Not friends, not enemies, just two women learning to coexist after surviving the same storm. As for Mendeecees, sources say he's begun private counseling and is trying to rebuild his relationship with both women, starting with being a father to the child he once denied. The story may have started with betrayal, secrecy, and chaos, but now there was a small, flickering light of something different: accountability, healing, and maybe even redemption. But the wounds were still fresh, and while apologies were made, trust would take much longer to rebuild. Fans remained glued to every update, every post, every clue about what would happen next. And somewhere, in the quiet aftermath, 3 lives continued to shift, trying to figure out what it means to move forward when the truth has finally come out and everything has changed. What a roller coaster this entire situation has been. From secret DNA tests to explosive confrontations and emotional breakdowns, this drama has shaken the love and hip-hop world to its core. Fans are still reeling from Mendeecees' shocking confession, Yandy's raw and powerful response, and Erica Mina's emotional plea for peace. And now that all the dirty laundry is out in the open, the real question is, what happens next? Will Yandy and Mendeecees ever be able to rebuild what's been broken? Can Erica and Yandy find common ground after years of tension and betrayal? Or is this just the calm before another storm that's ready to explode? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. With so many emotions still raw and trust hanging by a thread, the next chapter could bring anything from healing and reconciliation to even more shocking twists. We've seen relationships crash and burn before, but we've also seen love and strength rise from the ashes. Only time will tell if these three can find a way forward, or if this drama is just getting started. But now we want to hear from you. Whose side are you on? Do you think Mendeecees truly deserves forgiveness? Can Yandy ever trust him again? And what about Erica? Was she right to come forward with the truth, or should she have handled it differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because we know you've got opinions on this wild situation. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, so you never miss an update on all the latest reality TV drama, scandals, and secrets. Stay tuned because we've got even more explosive stories coming your way real soon.